In today's video, we are talking about Johnny Gargano, Zack Sabre Jr., and of course, the mystery debut for AEW Forbidden Door. Also, we're going to talk about some original plans for AEW Forbidden Door. And yeah, we're going to jump into it, my friends. Let's talk about the original plans for the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. So Tony Khan recently on Busted Open Radio discussing the original plans for this pay-per-view. He specifically said that he had a lot of plans leading into it, and I think it would have been great, and the TV was ready to go. We had a lot of great matches planned in the weeks leading into Forbidden Door. According to Khan, a lot of those matches involved CM Punk and a number of other stars who are injured, but AEW was helped by its deep roster of talent to keep the wheels turning in the weeks leading up to the Sunday show. Now, if you guys watch me live on Twitch, I talk about how, and I gave some examples, okay? I gave some examples of how AEW does great storylines. But lately, because of the Owen Hart Cup tournament and Forbidden Door, they haven't really been focused on storylines. They've just been focused on providing these matches. And one of the things I was saying was, hey, when AEW focuses on storylines, their TV is so much better. And I imagine that Forbidden Door would have been better. Now, to that extent, I want to mention this because I think it's fair to address this. In defense of Tony Khan and AEW, I do feel like they got screwed here. And it's good to see that Tony Khan revealed that they actually had plans to build up these matches for Forbidden Door. Because right now, just, Okada coming to the ring and, having Zack Sabre Jr. confront Bryan Danielson, like, that's all cool and dandy and everything. But those aren't actual builds. And so that's why I'm saying in defense of AEW, I will cut them some slack. And I hope that this doesn't continue to be an issue going forward because clearly injuries played a role. And Tony Khan has admitted that it's played a role. They had plans to build matches to go into the pay-per-view. They didn't obviously do that. And for that reason, I totally understand it now. Obviously, it is a very big issue in wrestling that injuries continue to mess up plans. So I'm glad that Tony Khan was transparent in that fact. Now, with that being said, Tanahashi versus CM Punk, I know a lot of people are actually excited about that, man, but I would have really, really loved for Tanahashi to face someone young from AEW, maybe like Daniel Garcia or something. I would have loved CM Punk, Bryan Danielson to have a chance with Okada. Whatever it may be, nonetheless, it's going to be really cool. I actually mentioned it. I said Forbidden Door might be one of the best pay-per-views because even with the lack of build, you just know that these matches are going to be bangers. I just hope the pay-per-view doesn't go like 6-7 hours long. That's my only concern. Otherwise, I think everybody's pretty excited for this pay-per-view. Now, with that being said, a lot of people are also excited because of Johnny Gargano. And of course, there's been a lot of talk about Johnny Gargano possibly making his debut at AEW. And of course, AEW also just announced that in a couple months, they're going to bring AEW back to Cleveland. So of course, everybody is freaking out. They think Johnny Gargano is headed to AEW. And as you guys know, since Johnny Gargano had left WWE, I have literally been staying on top of every major Johnny Gargano story because it's important that you guys kind of stay in the loop with the content that I'm providing to keep you updated. Now I'm going to show you guys my screen. Johnny Gargano put out this tweet 1 hour ago. This Sunday, June 26th, I'll be in Chicago at the Chicago Card Show presented by Midwest Sports Buffet. I'll be signing autographs in the morning. For more info, visit Midwest Sports Buffet. And of course, you guys can take a look at the flyer, and there you go. You got Johnny Gargano on the flyer. He's the only wrestling star there. But of course, a lot of people thought, oh my God, he's going to be in Chicago. He's going to be at Forbidden Door. Now, I could be wrong, but I do not think Johnny Gargano would go the lengths to mislead people. I promise you this is ridiculously coincidental and has been booked for months. I'll only be in Chicago for like 8 hours. I also realize that in saying this, that only 5% of you are going to... This is so funny. I also realize in saying this that only like 5% of you are going to believe I'm actually telling the truth. Now, the reason why I find this so funny is because it's true. I think a lot of people are going to think he's just bullshitting. But I really don't think Johnny Gargano is going to be at AEW Forbidden Door. I don't think so. Now, by the way, Forbidden Door, Johnny Gargano, Zack Sabre Jr., that would be a massive match. I have no doubt in my mind that it would be incredible. But I think we got to start talking about who the real person is going to be. And of course, there is nothing confirmed, but there is this huge belief amongst many people in the wrestling industry Claudio Cesaro will be making his debut against Zack Sabre Jr. And the reason for this is because there is this belief that Claudio Cesaro will become a new member of Blood and Guts, which, by the way, this means that Claudio Cesaro would be in Blood and Guts in Detroit, which would be awesome for me. Now, for those who are maybe not as happy about this, and I mentioned this on my live stream as well, and I said, look, AEW has a huge roster and there's tons of people not being used, right? So the fact that there's a debut here kind of sucks. I don't know what their plans are. I genuinely don't know if AEW is looking at bringing this person in permanently or if they're just trying to do it in the meantime because of the Bryan Danielson injury. I don't know. But if Cesaro is coming to Blackpool Combat Club and he has a match against Zack Sabre Jr., take all of the negative analysis away from it, right? About them not using certain talent, etc., etc. Because if I had it my way, I would just have Daniel Garcia versus Zack Sabre Jr., have them wrestle for 60 minutes, right? But in my belief, I think what is happening here is that AEW is very much making this a surprise element to the show to make it feel bigger and better and all these great things. Cesaro being there, it makes a lot of sense. Cesaro being in Blackpool Combat Club makes a lot of sense. My biggest issue, though, is more signings, more people joining, more people debuting. Other people get lost in the shuffle. At this point, I'm not even going to argue it anymore. It's a big concern for me in AEW, but we'll see what happens. We don't know what the hell is happening with ROH just yet. Cesaro is trending on Twitter, so if you guys don't know, let's just show you the screen. Cesaro is trending on Twitter. Everybody is talking about Cesaro. Obviously, this promo with Bryan Danielson. People want Zack Sabre Jr. and Cesaro. And guess what? It makes a lot of sense. I don't understand. I understand, some people are like, oh, well, what about John Gresham, right? We've seen John Gresham on AEW. So why would you not just announce it, right? Why would you not announce the return of an injured wrestler? Why would you not? This is clearly a debut. Clearly, AEW knows what they're doing. And look, they do sign a lot of people. Let's get ROH TV on the road. Let's get these rosters separated. Let's get back to the storylines. Everything will be Gucci. After Forbidden Door, I don't want to hear no excuses for the lack of storylines and the lack of, good TV. I think it's gotten to a point where AEW's got to put on a banger of a show. They will. Cesaro being there will make it even better. But after this, let's get refocused. That's all. That's all I'm saying is get refocused. Because when AEW is focused, when Tony Khan is focused, man, this product is so good. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below.